Hey there, my name is Kelly Dale with Off the Beaded Path. So for the past 2 days, I've been showing you how to make the balloon bracelet. On the first day, I showed you how to make the top of the bracelet, which was our balloon ring components that we put together. And then yesterday, I showed you how to make the infinity links for the side and how we actually connected those to the top. So today, I'm going to be showing you the clasp part of the bracelet. Now the clasp is actually going to be really cool, and for those of you who have done my beaded toggle pattern, you're going to be no stranger to this. Basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making 2 bars of the toggles and we're going to be connecting them together so that it's going to be like this. And so what will happen actually when we get ready to go and start working on it is you will end up taking 1 bar and it goes through 1 loop, and then the other bar will go through the other loop on the other side of the bracelet, so that then you have your clasp for the bracelet just like this. And this looks like total on this because it's not the right color, but you can see. And the really cool thing about this specific clasp that we're going to use for this bracelet is that the bracelet is made for a size 7 wrist. So if you need it a little bit smaller, you can do less beads here in the little barbell point. If you need it bigger, you just use more beads. So you don't, this can be made one size, and then this can be made to fit multiple sizes of wrist. The only thing I will say is that your bead work is about 6 3/4 inches. So if you have a smaller wrist, what you may end up having to do is actually do a smaller loop here. So we did 56 beads in our initial loop yesterday in the infinity link. So you may have to do just a few smaller so that it'll actually make that a little bit smaller. But otherwise, this bracelet is going to be great because it's going to fit the average wrist. So let's go ahead and get started. You're going to want to start with about 1 yard to 1.5 yards of your thread on your needle, and we're basically just for the toggle bars are going to be using size 11 seed beads and then your 3mm fire polish beads. So get your materials and we'll get started. So this is what we're going to need to make to actually get started with our clasp. So I've got my needle threaded on, and I'm going to take 1 bead, 1 size 11 seed bead, and I'm going to bring it down and go back through that bead again so that it's my stop bead. But now this bead is also going to be bead number 1 on my strip. Now I'm going to thread on 15 more beads. So when you let them drop down and you recount them, you should have a total of 16 beads. Alright, now we're going to do regular peyote stitch. So from where I'm coming out right here, I'm going to end up picking up 1 11, skipping the last 11 I threaded on, and going through the next 11. I'm going to pull that. Now you'll want these 2 beads to sit on top of each other. If they don't, you'll have to make them do it. And you just do that by pulling them tightly and setting them on top of each other, just like this. Well, here we go. And we're just going to continue picking up 1 bead, skipping 1 bead, and then going through the very next bead. And I'll hold that and pull this through. Pick up 1 11, skip 1, and go through 1. And I'm going to continue doing this until I reach the end of the strip. Once you get to the end of the strip, now we'll be working back in the other direction. So I'm actually just going to pick it up and hold it in my hands like this. I'm going to pick up 1 11, and I'm going to go through the next 11 that's sticking up, and essentially that's going to be the last bead that you added. Pick up one bead, go through the next bead sticking up. And our new beads are just filling in the little holes there that we have. Thread on one bead, go through the next bead sticking up. And you're going to continue this all the way down the strip and keep doing your rows until you have 5 beads along each side. So I have my strip complete. I have 5 beads on this side and 5 beads on this side. And at this point, we are going to fold it together so that we can zip the piece up. So currently my thread is coming out of the bottom of this right hem bead. So I'm going to come over to the left, just the very next bead, and I'm going to go up through that bead. Then I'm going to kind of come to a diagonal, and I'm going to come to the next bead on the right that's sticking up. And I'm going to go through that bead. And then I'm going to come over here to the left, and I'm going to go through the next bead that's sticking up there on the left. And I'm just going to continue doing this zigzag motion and pulling the thread together so that my beads will pull together and form the tube that we need. The point is to make this look uniform so that you can't tell where the tube stops and where it starts. And it's just zigzagging from one side to the other. And I also have some other videos that teach you how to do this peyote tube. So if you're having a little bit of a hard time maybe seeing the colors that I'm using, you can definitely go back and check out some of those YouTube videos. I know I've got a 4th of July peyote stitch tube earrings that are really cute. Alright, so I'm back up here to the top, and I'm going to go through the last bead here on the left. Now, as you can see, I also have thread coming out here on the right. This was my little stop bead, so I'm actually going to take my tulip awl, and I'm going to get up under that thread and pull that thread out. I'm going to go down through that bead, the one on the right, up through the bead on the left. I'm going to reinforce that. And now I'm going to take a needle and I'm going to zigzag through with this little tail thread and tie this, or get rid of the tail thread. Now that I have the thread, the little tail thread taken care of, I'm ready to finish out the tube. So basically, from where I'm coming out, I'm going to stick the needle straight through the tube. Okay, so this is what the one side looks like and the other side. So I'm going to thread on a 3mm and a 15. This is my 3mm fire polish. I'm going to skip the 15 and I'm going to go back down through the 3mm and then straight through the tube and pull that tight. Now I'm going to thread on another 3mm and a 15. I'm going to let those fall, and then I'm going to skip the 15. I'm going to go through the 3mm and then straight through that tube into the 3mm on the other side. And I'm going to hold that in place and pull that thread really nice and tight. I'm going to go through the 15, back down through the 3mm fire polish. And it's tight, so it's going to be hard to get through. And then I'm going to go through the 3mm on the other end. And you just want to do this a couple of times to reinforce that connection there for those little 3mm. This will keep it nice and tight for you. And then once you've gone through that last bead, just kind of stick your needle through the tube so that it comes out of a bead here. Now I'm going to stitch through my beads to come out of a bead that looks like it's pretty well centered in the tube. So just stitching through here. Okay, so I think this bead right here is pretty well centered in my tube. Yeah, that's pretty well centered. Alright, so I've got this one, and I have made another one of these as well, but I have tied off the thread on this one. And I've done that so that now we can connect these tubes. So like I said, the good thing is if you need a shorter bracelet, you can cut down on the amount of seed beads on here. I wouldn't cut down. This has 15. I would only cut down to 10. I wouldn't go lower than 10. If you need the bracelet to be longer, just add more seed beads here in this section. Now I'm going to add 15. Now once you have those 15 threaded on, then you are going to go through a bead that looks like it's pretty well centered here on the other tube that you've made. Alrighty, that is nowhere near centered. See, don't you just love video because it catches all your little mistakes? But you definitely want to try and get it as centered as you can. And sometimes it's doing just exactly like I did, just sticking, you know, your beads on there and seeing, because it's very easy to take out if you need to take out, so I wouldn't worry about it too awfully much. Alright, now I'm going to go back down through all 15 of those beads that I just added. And then back through the same 11O that I started with here on this first tube. So you can see the thread was coming out of the left hand side of the bead. So I'm going to go through that bead from right to left to center that strip on the bead. And now once I do this, I'm going to reinforce this once or twice more and then tie off the thread. So now that you have your little toggle, our toggle bars completed, you have the bracelet completed, because now you can put this through one side, put this through the other side, and now you have your completed piece. So it's nice and sophisticated in the front and party in the back with these little sides here. And like I said, this is a great bracelet for somebody who has a metal allergy, because there is no metals for the clasp. So I hope you guys enjoyed learning how to make this. And again, we do have the gold, and we will have the black and silver, as well as the turquoise available on our website, which is offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com. So guys, thanks so much for watching. I know this has been a long little mini series, but you know, I wanted to kind of break it up so you would have time to work on some different components for it. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed, and please check out my website at offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com. And if you love these videos, please be sure and hit the red subscribe button so you'll know when all of our videos are uploaded. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye bye.